Hello guys, this is Prime Concept. You're welcome once again to my channel. In this video, I want to concentrate still on trigonometry. This time around, we'll be considering an area of trig. We'll consider two areas in this video. In our previous video, we considered Pythagorean identities. We mentioned or derived three Pythagorean identities and we'll see how to apply them in our subsequent videos. Now, for now, we want to consider even and odd functions. Even and odd functions, right? This is the short for function. So trigonometric function, remember we introduced that we have 6 basic trigonometric functions. And these trig functions can be classified under even functions or odd functions. So each of them would either be even or it would be an odd function. So what are these functions? We're going to define them one after the other. Even functions, let's start with even. Even functions are those functions where these are functions where f of minus x is actually equal to f of x, right? A trig function is said to be even if the negative of that function, right, is equal to the function itself. What do we mean by this? For example, one of the even functions we have, let's list them. Example of even function we have is cos. Cosine is an even function, and then another even function is sec. So these are basically the two even functions we have, just the both of them. So what do we mean by this definition? If I have cos negative theta, this, because it's an even function, would give us same result as cos theta, meaning that for a layman, we can just say that cos function absorbs the negative sign. Also, what it means is if I have cos negative 30 degree, for example, now I won't have to bother myself having known that cos is an even function. I would simply know that cos of minus 30 is actually the same thing as cos 30 degrees. So I don't even have to think of the minus again. So this is one of the implications and very important when we are doing some applications in trigonometry. So cos minus 30 would give us same result as cos 30. So you can also verify this using your calculator. You see it's the same. So same way, if you have sec of minus 30, for example, this will still give you same thing as sec 30, right? That is what it means. So when you say a function, a trig function is even, in this case we're considering trig, but generally when you say a function is even, it means that f of the negative is same as f of the positive of that function. And we have established that we have two basic trig functions that are even, which is the cos and the sec. So the second one is odd functions. Odd functions. These are functions where f of negative x is equal to negative f of x. So you can see the difference now. So for odd functions, f function of the negative would be negative then function of the positive quantity. So it means that for odd functions, the negative sign reflects at the back of the function. So example of odd functions, the trig functions that are odd includes sine, includes tangent is odd, also includes cosec, and then finally cot. So these are the basic odd functions we have. These are the odd functions for trig that we have. So what does it mean? It simply means that if I have sine of negative theta, this same thing as negative sine theta. So the negative would reflect outside that trig function. So that when I say sine negative 30, this will be the same thing as negative sine 30. I just have to bring out the minus. So that is how it works. You can see the difference between this and this. I believe that difference is very clear to you. Now, what we want to advance and proceed. The next concept we want to consider, which is still very important. And most of these things I'm explaining, if you put all the videos I've been doing together, you will see how important they are, because we'll soon begin to apply these concepts. So take note, I'm trying to give them sequentially so that when we begin to apply them, it will be very easy for you to understand. So the next thing we want to consider is sines of trig functions. Sine. When we say sine, you can see it here. Sines of trig functions. So we want to look at the sign that trig functions will carry in different quadrants. Remember, in a circle, we have 4 major quadrants. So we want to look at, in these 4 quadrants, what will be the sign of the basic trig function. So we're going to consider sine, cos, and what? Tangent. So, and there's a mnemonic, if I would say, that is used in remembering this. We have C, A, S, T, and this is usually named as casts, right? If you pronounce upwards from C, you call it casts. But if you pronounce downwards from A, you call it acts. Anyone you can remember, but this is it. Of course, you know that for a circle, this is usually our first quadrant, this is our second quadrant, this is our third quadrant, and this is our fourth quadrant. So don't forget, we count counterclockwise. When we are dealing with angles, we measure angle counterclockwise, not in a clockwise direction. We measure angle. The positive sense of an angle is measured counterclockwise. So if you go clockwise, it means the angle becomes negative. We'll still talk about it as we advance. Now, so what does this mnemonic, what does this stand for? A in this case means that all trig functions in the first quadrant are positive. All are positive. That is to say, in this first quadrant, sine of an angle in first quadrant would give you positive result. Cosine of an angle in first quadrant will give you a positive result. Tangent would give you positive. So it means that all the trig functions, as long as they're in the first quadrant, would give positive result. Now somebody may ask, how do I know that an angle falls in the first quadrant? Very simple. When you have between 0 degree to 90 degree, remember I've said between. So for example, if you have an angle of 30 degree, it means it is between this, so it is in first quadrant. If you have an angle of 60, it is in first quadrant, 45 first quadrant, 80 first quadrant. Now, same way, for the second quadrant, we have S. So this simply means that only sine is positive. Only sine is what? Positive. That is to say, in your second quadrant, cosine is negative. Tangent is also negative, but sine is what? Positive. Only sine is positive in our second quadrant. So, and how do we know that an angle falls in second quadrant? So for second quadrant, it is between 90. It is between 90 to 180, between, right? Because 180 is a flank, 90 is a flank, so between them. So if I have 91, it is second quadrant, 92, second quadrant, 94, second quadrant, 120, second quadrant, 150, second quadrant, 100, second quadrant. So when you have angles between 90 and 180, you should know that it falls in the second quadrant. Now let's come to third quadrant. In our third quadrant, we have only tangent is positive. Only tan is positive. That is to say, for your third quadrant, cosine is negative. Sine is also what? Negative. Only tangent is positive. How do we know angles in the third quadrant? It is going to be angles between 180 degree to 270 degree, in between this. So if I have 200 is in the third quadrant, right? 250 third quadrant, 230 third quadrant, and so on. Now finally we have our fourth quadrant. You have C. It means that only C is positive. only cos is positive in our fourth quadrant, right? What does it mean? Sine is negative in the fourth quadrant. Tan is also negative in the fourth quadrant. So only cos is what? Positive. How do we know angles in the fourth quadrant? Between 270 degree to what now? To 360 degree. So this is how you can identify these quadrants, and we're going to take a very simple example in this video and see why this is very important. Now let me drop an example. All right, now we have this problem. We can solve this. We're going to solve this maybe in two ways, if time permits. And the question says the cosine of the angle. So we're looking for cosine. Cosine of the angle in the third quadrant. So specifically, we are dealing with the third quadrant. So we're looking for the cosine of angle that belongs to what quadrant? The third quadrant. Whose tangent is 3 over 5. So the tangent of that angle is 3 over 5. That is to say, what they are telling us is that tan of the angle theta, tan of that angle is actually 3 over 5, right? They want us to find the cosine of that angle. What is cos theta? What is cos of the angle going to be? So, but they gave us something that will guide us. If they don't give us this, you may lose guide, right? So, we want to find this, noting that that angle is in what quadrant? Third quadrant, right? What is the implication? We're going to see. Now, which approach? We're going to use the trig identity first to solve this. So let's see. If you recall our trig identities, we got a relationship that tan theta, tan square theta plus 1 is equal to what? Sec squared theta. We got this relationship. I'm going to solve this in two ways. We got this relationship. Now, what is tan theta? Tan theta is 3 over 5. So I'm going to replace 3 over 5, then all squared, because this is tan squared theta, right? Then plus 1 equals sec squared theta. So that is what I have. Now, if you square this, 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25, plus 1 equals sec squared theta. So let me rub this. I believe that we have this work ready. So, can we add up this? Yes, of course. We have 9 over 25 plus 1 equals sec squared theta. So what you do when you have this kind of scenario, just use the denominator 25. 25 times 1 is 25. 25 plus 9 is what now? Is 34. So this is going to be 34 over the denominator, which is 25. And this is equal to sec squared theta. So this is what we have. Now, the next thing is we want to remove this square. So what it means is that sec theta, removing this square, it will come here as square root. Sec theta is going to be plus or minus square root of 34 over 25. Why the plus or minus? Whenever you're taking square roots, you introduce plus or minus, because it can either be any of them, because this is square. So I have that sec theta is going to be plus or minus square root of 34, because it's not a perfect square. All divided by 25 is a perfect square. So when you say square root of 25, it will give us 5. So this is what we have as sec, but this is not what we're looking for. They say we should find what? Cos. But do you know that cos is actually 1 over sec from our previous video? You should remember that cos is 1 over sec. Sec is 1 over cos. Same thing. So it means I'm going to say that cos theta is going to be plus or minus, okay, cos theta is going to be 1 over sec theta. So which simply means I'm just reversing this. That is what it means, reverse. So which simply means I have plus or minus 5 over root 34. So this is what cos theta would be. Now, but there is a challenge. And what is the challenge? We have two answers here. It's either it is positive or you have a negative result. But one of them should be our answer. Now let's go back to the question. The question says the cosine of the angle in what quadrant? In third quadrant. Now what do we know about third quadrant? From our cast, if you remember, from our cast, we have already established that this is our third quadrant. And in our third quadrant, only tan is positive. It means that cosine in our third quadrant is negative. So which of these answers am I going to pick? You are very correct. I'll pick the negative. So it means that finally, that cos theta in the third quadrant is minus 5 over root 34. So this is my answer, not the positive. Of course, in your exam, UNN exam, UNIZIC exam, ASUT and SUMAS, and so on, you would see these two options. You see maybe option A, minus 5 over root 34. You see option B, plus 5 over root 34. So it means you have to be extremely sure before you can pick an answer. So very quickly, I want to solve this in another method for those that do not like this identity method. So let's also see how we can solve this very quickly. So another way we can solve this is to use our triangle. So you draw your right triangle. Draw your right triangle like this. And call this place theta. I can use here any part of it you want to use. Now, what is tan? Recall that tan is actually opposite over adjacent. So what it means is that opposite to this angle is 3. So I'll put it here, 3. And the adjacent is what? 5. So I'll place the adjacent here, 5. Now, what do I need to find? I need to find the hypotenuse, which I'm going to call x. Right? From Pythagoras theorem, you have that x squared is going to be 5 squared plus 3 squared. So x squared is going to be 25 plus 9, which is actually 34. Then x becomes plus or minus square root of 34. So this is what we have as x plus or minus. I want to find cos theta, right? So cos theta, cos theta is actually going to be adjacent over what now? Hypotenuse. Now, what is our adjacent? Our adjacent in this place is what? 5. So 5 over our hypotenuse is x. And what is x? Either plus root 34 or minus root 34. So which one of them are we taking? You are very correct. Because they told us third quadrant, so we're going to take the negative. So I'll have negative root 34. So which is still the same result as what we got previously, right? Now, I want you to also know that in mathematics, if you put minus down or above or at the center, it still means the same thing, right? So this negative can stay anywhere and still mean the same thing. It can stay down here, it can stay up, it can stay at the center. We're still talking of same thing. So I believe that this simple example has been able to bring together for you the concept of trigonometric Pythagorean identity. We've used it and we've derived those formulas. I would also use the concept of right triangle. So in my next video, I'll be showing you powerful concepts. We'll be looking at how to find the trigs of special angles. We'll be seeing that in different ways, in varieties of method. So do well to subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Like this video, comment, and then share with your friends. Tell them prime concept is doing wonders in trigonometry. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.